many of you are part of a community? Yeah, I should see every hand going up here. So I've got Cape Elizabeth High School, you've got athletics, your classes. Community manifests in a lot of different ways. And when I was your age, I was engaged in student government, and I was destined for the Massachusetts State House. I believed that good law and policy were the things that were going to change our communities and our planet for the better. And that was until I saw the work of this man. This is Sebastien Salgado. He's a Brazilian-born documentary photographer, and I saw his work in Boston. He's traveled all over the world, shot on all the continents, and has particularly focused on the plight of the oppressed. And I saw a world open up to me that I was a part of, but completely separate from. So how many of you, looking at these images, feel something? Great. Something shifts. Perhaps you have a visceral reaction to them. That is your humanity. And that is the thing that I'm really interested in. That is what shifted in me. My heart broke open. And it's through images and really through story, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, which becomes a story, that we are able to tap into our humanity, the things that we all feel, whether it's desire, love, passion, anger, injustice, and empathy and compassion, which are incredibly important. So instead of winding up at the Massachusetts State House, I wound up at the Salt Institute for Documentary Studies, which is here in Portland, Maine, studying documentary photography. And it was the first time that I really found a community. I felt like I was part of a community that I had chosen. And so often we fall into communities because of our parents, because of our siblings, because of the town we live in geographically where we are. But for the first time, I was in a place where I was with people who shared the same values as myself, vision, ideas, and it was really, really exciting. And at that time, photography, the medium, morphed to music, which is, I had been playing music my whole life. And I decided to engage that as the medium for connecting with humanity, that idea. And it was fun. And I was a young, ambitious, empowered woman in a male-dominated society, and I decided to do it myself. And I was my own booking manager, booking agent, promoter, graphic designer, producer. I traveled all over the nation. I got to engage in some really interesting work. It was fulfilling, and at the end of 10 years doing that, I was absolutely exhausted. Spiritually, emotionally, creatively, physically. I was getting sick a lot. And there was a disconnect in the community that I felt at SALT, the value of that and the way that I was operating in my business and my craft, my art. So in 2009, I left everything behind, except for my husband. We sold our house, we got rid of all of our stuff, and we were invited to join a pilgrimage, a trip called Beyond Boundaries, which was the vision of a friend and mentor, Gigi Coyle, and we focused on 5 different communities. I will say that this is one of the scariest things that I've ever done in my lifetime. And there was a lot of support for us to go, and there were a few people who said, "You're absolutely crazy. These are your prime earning years, and you should be home making babies and, settling in," which I was not interested in. So we went. And I'll say that the scariest things that you do in your lifetime, the things that really challenge you, that get your heart to thump, those are the things that are the most worthwhile, the things worth doing. So all of these communities are extremely different, but they share certain things in common. One, they're all intentional communities. They're a place where people who have shared values, beliefs, vision have come together to realize those. 2, they believe that interconnectedness, inter-support, collaboration is the way to achieve that vision. 3, that vision has to do with regenerative design. So we hear a lot about sustainability. It's up in the news, green design. Think about sustainability. It is maintaining the status quo. And what these people, these communities were interested in was regeneration, essentially healing, going a step above sustainability. So that was in everything about our culture, our systems, agricultural systems, financial systems, social system, the way that we govern each other, the way that we communicate with each other, challenging the notion of possession. Some pretty far out radical ways. So there was a thread that I found and that was affirmed for me through this journey, and it was music, happily. Everywhere that we went, music was present. It became the way that people communicated, that they shared stories, and a lot of these places, people didn't share a common language, but music became that common language where we were able to connect. It was the way that culture was preserved, that important dialogue happened in between, the way that we celebrated, weathered storms, got over some really awkward cultural bumping, and just really focused on beauty as well. So there was one more community that I visited during this time, and it is Jardim Angela. It's a favela in Sao Paolo, Brazil. And there was a gentleman that you saw a couple times in these pictures. His name is Claudio Miranda. And he invited me to come to his community, which in 1996 was dubbed the most dangerous neighborhood in the world by the UN. And so I said, sure. So since that time, there had been this groundswell, and Claudio was part of this, of cultural initiatives. And this was the important thing that I was finding. When I was talking about being a part of government and creating better communities and the planet, government works kind of from the top down. And what Claudio was doing in his community was working from the bottom up, the inside out, working from that place where things shift and move and people have empathy and get in touch with their humanity. And they were having amazing success, and things had really changed in this community. And they were able to transcend, using music and the arts and community, their cultural, their financial, their physical boundaries. And so I came back home, I was jazzed, I was excited, and I said, okay, I want to do this in my own community. How do I do this? And I was having dinner with a friend, Deb Bicknell, who I think is in this room today, and we were talking about this idea. She's like, yeah, I think music. She'd had some really incredible experiences with music in the Middle East, and she said, I think this is important. We need to do something in our community. We didn't know what it was, but we knew that it was important and that it was ours to do. So it was identifying what was ours to do, what we loved, what we felt passionate about, talking about how we would incite and invite that in our community, and then find support, invigorate and support the people who are already doing this instead of reinventing the wheel. So we created the Transcendence Project. We launched our first project this past summer, which was a collaboration with Seeds of Peace. I think we might have some Maine seeds in the audience, hopefully. Seeds of Peace brought 35 artists from 9 countries in conflict, from the Middle East, South Asia, together to talk about the role of the arts in peace work. And it was amazingly, amazingly powerful. So we're moving forward from here. We don't know what is next to come, but I'm interested to hear if you have any ideas for us and with us. And I'm going to leave you with a song. This is one that I started writing in Brazil with Claudio, and it's called Beija-Flor, which translates to flower kisser, hummingbird, which was the thing that I felt really personified that notion of transcendence. Oh, Beija-Flor, you transcend, and no one can take the levity which you defend. So if you believed that you'd ever fly, now no one can take the gravity which you defy. Where houses stack like dominoes and alleys know the secrets that no one one else knows. And thick in the air, competing with the sun, hangs a cloud of despair. The city swells and swallows you whole, but you won't be eaten alive. It's not your time to go. Just like a kite, you transcend. When the wind gusts, you sway and bend. The harder it blows, the higher you go. Just like a kite, you transcend, taking matters in your own hands, standing in the face of so many fears. People say it can't be done, undoing what's been done through all of those years. But what you perceive will be revealed when you follow the path inside that only you feel. Oh, beija-flor que transcende, pra envergar e você balançar. Quando mais sopra, no alto flutuar como uma pepa. No, oh, beija-flor que transcende, conta pra envergar e você balançar. Quando mais sopra, no alto flutuar como uma pepa. No,